And, you know, basically we're here. I think, you know, probably over the last decade or two, everyone has slowly seen solar panels kind of cropping up at our homes, buildings, institutions, schools, hospitals. You know, more and more we're seeing these, and the data backs that up, that, you know, rooftop solar is a growing phenomenon, not just in Salt Lake City, but across Utah and America. So as a piece of that, we're wrestling with some of the regulatory, the issues that surround that. How exactly do we price it? What are they paying for that? And just a bunch of issues that have come up. And most notably last summer, there was a proposal to levy a monthly fee. And so that ultimately was rejected, but it kicked off an important process. And we're in the middle of that process right now. Actually, down today at the Public Service Commission, there is a hearing in which they are hearing from experts to study the benefits of solar energy. And ultimately, there'll be a series of 4 of these meetings, but ultimately it'll arrive at incredibly important decisions that are going to help guide the future of solar energy in Utah. So it's one of those regulatory processes that's a little dense, a little complicated, a little arcane, but in this case super important and critical to sort of the direction we go. What kind of energy system do we want in the 21st century and beyond? So I'm proud to just introduce you to 4 different speakers today who are going to sort of talk about solar energy, why it matters to them, and what they think is important about the benefits of solar energy, and some of the perspectives we hope are considered as the Public Service Commission enters this complex, lengthy, but critical process of evaluating those benefits. We are super appreciative to Rowland Hall for offering us this space and this opportunity to discuss this issue. And of course, notably behind us, we have a real tangible, concrete symbol of Rowland Hall's commitment to sustainability in the form of those solar panels basking in the sun right behind us. So let's start out. Our first speaker will be from Rowland Hall, Mr. Jensen Morgan, who's the Rowland Hall Sustainability Coordinator.
Thank you. Hello. In 2010, Rowland Hall expanded its commitment to sustainability by purchasing and installing the 10.8 kilowatt system you can see behind me. Over the last 5 years, these panels have generated a total of 77.9 megawatt hours of energy, which is equivalent of planting 1,409 trees. Despite the significant achievement, Rowland Hall has realized that we can do even more. In addition to ongoing energy efficiency projects, we have decided to apply for a Blue Sky grant to install another 20 kilowatts on top of McCarthy campus, which would triple the size of our system. With current grid-connected policy, this new system is projected to save us $244 every single month. As Sustainability Coordinator at Rowland Hall, I support our student Claire's statements. Rowland Hall is excited to continue using and promoting affordable clean energy alternatives in Utah. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Jensen. Jensen already referred to the young woman that I'll bring up now, whose spirit and passion for this issue in many ways what kicked off us being here now. So please join me in welcoming Claire Wang, a senior at Rowland Hall, who created and led a student petition which has been submitted to the Public Service Commission in advance of today's critically important hearings. Claire?
Thank you all for having me. In recent months, 2 events occurred that will affect the future of clean energy in Utah. First, the utility company Rocky Mountain Power renewed its efforts to impose a new charge on homeowners with solar panels. Second, the Public Service Commission began an analysis of the costs and benefits of rooftop solar. Rocky Mountain Power's proposed fees will not only put current solar users at a financial disadvantage, they will also hinder the growth of solar in the future. A similar policy enacted in Arizona resulted in more than a 40% reduction in new applications for residential solar. As part of their analysis, the Public Service Commission will rule on whether or not Rocky Mountain Power will be able to raise costs on homeowners with solar. After learning about these issues last year, I knew that I had to speak up. I, along with nearly 200 of my fellow students at Rowland Hall, submitted a petition to the Public Service Commission asking them to take into account the full benefits of solar to the citizens of our state. The decisions the Commission is making are not just about your monthly utility bill. They're about the future of clean energy in Utah. Protecting citizen-generated solar energy is an affordable and common-sense way to reduce our state's dependence on dirty, polluting sources of energy such as coal in favor of clean and renewable energy. In Utah, coal accounts for half of CO2 emissions and upwards of 90% of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide pollution from energy, according to the U.S. Energy Information Agency. These pollutants have and will hurt all Utah residents. Several studies have found a link between increased air pollution and harmful health effects such as asthma, heart disease, strokes, and cancer. Utah's notorious air pollution has also drawn national attention for being among the worst in the country, which hinders our economy due to reduced business investment and tourism. The solution to these problems is simple. Protect and encourage clean alternatives to fossil fuels by protecting homeowners' right to own and use affordable energy. We cannot let Rocky Mountain Power penalize Utahns for taking actions to improve our state. Utah policymakers, know that your decisions will determine whether Utah will go on a path towards sustainability or one towards more pollution, more red air days, and more health and economic hazards. Young people of Utah, the Commission's decision will determine our future and our health. I encourage you to make your voice heard by writing your own letters to the Public Service Commission. Join me in letting the Public Service Commission know that they must reject any future attempts by Rocky Mountain Power to stamp out our right to choose solar. My generation wants a clean energy future. Thank you.
Terrific. One of the interesting things about last summer when the fee was proposed that Claire just discussed is there was a group of people who immediately got involved, and those were of course the folks who are rooftop solar owners. And we began to work with them. They soon organized into a brand new organization, which has become a real force on this issue and is working incredibly hard. I'm pleased to introduce you a board member of that group. It's called UCARE. Utah Citizens Advocating Renewable Energy. Robert Nohavec is the retired school media director for the Utah State Office of Education and is also a rooftop solar owner and also a board member of UCARE. Please join me in welcoming Robert.
You took my opening line here, but that's okay. Good morning. Our organization, UCARE, was founded in February of 2014 to promote the use of solar and other renewable energy resources through community education and empowerment, participation in policy development, and other activities that support the growth of energy generation from clean, renewable sources. My wife and I have been interested in solar power since adding a passive solar greenhouse to our home in Sandy, Utah back in the early 1980s. And in 2013, we installed solar panels on our current home, and we both share a deep religious commitment to environmental stewardship. Our faith informs us that we are to be good stewards of this beautiful world that God has given us. We bear the responsibility to pursue actions that reduce the pollution of our atmosphere and the degradation of our landscapes. Replacing dirty coal-fired power plants with clean energy, solar energy, is one way of fulfilling this responsibility. UCARE maintains that the Public Service Commission's current work sessions should look at all the benefits rooftop solar brings to our communities, and there are many. First, investing in rooftop solar is saving homeowners like me money. In addition, more rooftop solar means fewer investments in power plants and other expensive infrastructure, thus creating a savings for all consumers. Second, the solar industry is creating more jobs in our communities. Today, there are 68 companies operating in the solar industry in Utah, employing 1,500 people, and those jobs will increase as more people go solar. Third, lower energy bills for public agencies and schools like Rowland Hall that go solar mean more dollars available for other community services. And finally, more people going solar means cleaner air and healthier communities for Utah. UCARE urges the Public Service Commission to reject any attempts to restrict rooftop solar choice through the imposition of monthly rooftop solar fees or discriminatory rates on net metering customers. We further request that the Commission acts to ensure that all the benefits of rooftop solar are properly accounted for. Rest assured, UCARE will continue to pursue its mission of speaking up for solar and its benefits for our communities, our pocketbooks, and our earth.
Great, thank you so much, Robert. Our final speaker I'm pleased to introduce is State Senator Luz Escamilla, who represents District 1. I'm here in Salt Lake County. And Luz has long been a powerful and passionate voice for clean air and clean energy issues here in Salt Lake. Join me in welcoming Senator Escamilla.
Good morning. I'm Senator Luz Escamilla, and I represent Senate District 1, parts of Salt Lake City and West Valley. As a state senator, I understand the importance and value of supporting clean renewable energy. I first want to thank Rowland Hall for hosting this press conference, and it's a reminder of how institutions can really make a difference to start bringing more consciousness to our clean renewable energy and what we need to do. More importantly, I want to thank Heal Utah and the students of Rowland Hall. They really are role models and an example of what we need to do. It's interesting when you see the youth taking a more proactive approach and asking for their elected officials to do something that makes sense, and in Utah we need that all the time. Utah has a very unique opportunity at this moment. As mentioned before, for the first time, the Public Service Commission is conducting an analysis into the value and benefits of customer-produced solar energy. This is our opportunity as Utahns to speak up. While you wouldn't know from the last few days, our state actually has a good fortune of receiving bountiful amounts of sunlight. Utah is actually one of the sunniest states in the nation, and today is a beautiful day to prove that. Despite this, only a small amount of our state's current fuel mix is accounted by solar energy. As policymakers, we should consider the future of solar energy, and we need to keep in mind the benefits of expanding solar energy into our state for our youth and for our own future. From cleaner skies to more local jobs to increase consumers' choice, which is critical in our state, solar energy is a plus for our state. Greater integration of solar power into our energy mix has both economic and health benefits. As mentioned before, Utah has a bad reputation when it comes to our air quality, and we see it every winter. If we increase solar production, it will help avoid the risk that arise from volatility in fossil fuel prices and high energy market prices. Investing in renewable power has the additional advantage of protecting the health and communities sensitive to asthma and other health-related issues. We will also be serving our own beautiful world from warming planet by decreasing the reliance of fuels that produce greenhouse gases. So this is a call to my colleagues at the state legislature. As policymakers, we need to consider the many benefits of increasing our reliance on solar energy, and do it in a reasonable way by removing the many barriers, including fees that should not be in place and other obstacles, and make sure that we can transition to a clean energy future to take care of our world and the future of our children. Thank you very much.
Terrific. Well, we really appreciate everyone coming today. In addition to thanking Rowland Hall and UCARE, I want to mention Utah Clean Energy and the Sierra Club have both helped out with today's event as well. I realize when folks hear terms like cost-benefit analysis and net metering and docket and Public Service Commission, that there's probably a tendency for our ears to not quite listen and our eyes to glaze over. But these are critical processes. And I think it's safe to say that this is a fork in the road for Utah. And it's a fork where we get to choose between, appreciating the wide-ranging benefits of a orderly and critical transition toward clean energy. And, Rowland Hall has made that investment. Individual homeowners like Robert have made that investment. Lots of Utahns are very interested in exploring that, and we need the Public Service Commission to recognize that. The last thing we should be doing now is penalizing or punishing that choice. So we urge Utahns to get involved. You can check out, the Facebook pages and the websites of groups like the Sierra Club, like Utah Clean Energy, like UCARE, and like Heal Utah. And we'll let you know about the opportunities to get involved. There's hearings coming up. There'll be a range of activities where ordinary folks can have their voices heard, and we can urge the commission to make the right decision and move toward the clean energy future we know we all need. So before we end today's event, does anyone have any questions for Claire or Robert or Rowland Hall folks or myself, Senator Escamilla? Great. Well, thanks very much. We appreciate it.